Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? What's going on right now in real life, you might ask? It's still really cold. Still so cold. I got a blanket again over my legs just to keep them warm. My hands getting kind of cold. And if anything, I should use this nice little pillow that my friends got me for my birthday, where I can like stick my hands in. I don't think I can stick the controller in here. Hold on, can I? I can. Look at what you can't see what I'm doing. Basically, it's one of those like hand pillows, and I put the Switch controller inside of it. So let's see if I can play while also warming up my hands like this. Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:31 PM on Saturday, October 2nd, 2021. Nothing to speak of today, so I'll go about usual business. I'm sort of like fighting. It's a bit too small to do this, so I'm sort of fighting against the resistance the pillow's putting on. It's got a little bit of elasticity and a little bit of a give, but not enough of a give for me to actually very comfortably do this. Oh, it's kind of comfortable. Oh, okay. Joy-Con drift is not going to make this easy, I'll tell you that much. Fabu, you know how to write I can't read today. You want to know how to write a great letter to a friend? Just be straightforward. We already got this one. Raymond, get out of here. Sorry, Raymond. Of course, it being Saturday means KK Cider is our visitor for today. I don't think we had Crazy Red visit this week, which is fair because I think we had him last week. But it does mean our process will be even slower than usual. Wait a minute. Yesterday was Raymond's birthday. I forgot to visit Raymond. I am a buffoon. I'm sorry, Raymond. I'm surprised we never went into his house. To be fair, we did celebrate it last year, so I apologise, Raymond. But that should have been the first thing we do, but even now my memory's slipping when it comes to that, apparently. Yeah, it was October 1st. How could I do that to our best friend? All of them that we got. To be fair, I did miss Rowan's birthday last year as well, I think, so this sort of situation apparently is not all that uncommon for me, which is a bit sad to think about. Only in Animal Crossing, mind you. Not so much in real life. I like to think I have a better grip on that. Yeah, honestly, my hands are pretty warm like this. Hold on, water, cut down tree, customized deep sea diving. My hands are reasonably warm like this. I might accidentally hit the bumper buttons a few too many times. So sort of see, we'll play it by ear. We'll see how it goes. But with cold weather, and when it comes in, what do? You bundle up. You put on more layers and that sort of thing. The problem is, some of the layers I have, I don't really fancy wearing a big like duffel coat around my arm when it's all that cold. Like, yeah, it keeps me warm, but my hands are still cold. It's a little bit impractical to wear gloves all the time, I suppose, in my home. And I don't know if anyone else feels it, but especially when I feel it when I have gloves, unless they're kind of thin gloves, it suddenly feels like it's like the amount of dexterity I lose when putting on gloves is disproportionate to what you'd expect. Does that make sense? Like, unless it's really thin gloves, I feel like my hands sort of just like fumble over things now. Entirely, rather than feeling like I'm in control. Annoyingly, it's both Tank and Phoebe here, who are the two people we need to actually give gifts to. I'm not sure if there's a way to force them off of the KK Slider seats, apart from just like reloading, but I suppose we can just farm up some Nookmal missions instead. But yeah, you want to bundle, but like something about putting gloves on. It's not like it makes your fingers harder to control. I don't really think that makes sense, but I don't know how else to put it except for it feels like my control is waning. I'm sorry, Raymond, I missed your birthday. Can I apologise? Why don't we give you a fossil to make up for it? If I even have a fossil in my inventory, I don't know if I do. I do. Here you go. I'm sorry I missed it. Here's a late birthday present. It's a T-Rex torso. Well, I know how much apparently everyone in this entire game loves fossils for some reason. But yeah, like, I used to have these. Oh, I mean, obviously I've gone through many pairs of gloves throughout the day, throughout my life. I mean, but like when I was much younger, I had these like much thicker gloves, like in primary school, whatever. They were very inconvenient. I felt like I couldn't really do anything with them. They're meant to have, it's a trade-off you need, because if you want to like retain in more heat to your body, you of course need like thicker gloves to have another layer of insulation, multiple layers, and like multiple different layers of different materials, which don't always have the most give to them. to trap in that heat towards your hand, and then, but if you where am I going with this? But the problem with that is then the glove gets too thick and it's a bit inconvenient to do anything, I find. So I had these gloves in secondary school as well. These were very interesting. These were like actually 2 pairs of gloves at once. But underneath there was like these cream, honestly kind of thin woolen gloves, and then over the top you're meant to wear these like grey fingerless gloves at the same time. And honestly, they were my favourite gloves, despite the fact they didn't keep my hands. They kept my hands kind of warm, but they were still like basically the equivalent of just putting like a sweater onto your hands or something, like a thin jumper or something onto your hands, and not that like. It's not that heat insulating, I suppose. But very, very convenient for the simple fact that sometimes if like a friend would forget to, you know, looking at you, Annie, would not wear gloves to school and it was pretty cold, I could take off a fingerless gloves and give them some gloves as well. And despite the fact that they're not like paper thin, but they weren't useless, you know. They still kept your hands relatively warmed up. Hello, Pascal. These do count as deep sea creatures, that's good. So despite the fact they didn't give quite the same amount of warmth as physical warmth that those previous like skiing or snowboarding gloves I used to wear were, you know, they give you something else, and that's the warmth of friendship. Aww, or something like that, I don't know. A little bit corny. Sorry, it just came off the dome piece. But yeah, those gloves are absolutely terrible, because when back in the days when it actually snowed, in our school days, when you actually get days cancelled off of school because of snow, which now I think about it, probably doesn't really happen much anymore now we've got the advent of online learning, which is a real shame. But I mean, I guess like what can you do? It's a bit weird of a situation. To be fair, we had a few snow days back in secondary school. I can't remember primary school all that well, like the snow days, or at least they weren't of much note from what I can recall. But there was this one stretch in secondary school, I can't remember what year I was in, maybe year 8 or something, where we had like 5 days off in a row or something to try and of snow days where we couldn't go into school, and our headmaster like brought a snowplow or something to try and clear out the snow, and it didn't work. Well, not like it didn't work, it wasn't enough, I should say, which was an interesting situation to hear about. But it happened so often that we actually got online work set through the school website, which, by the way, back then, I mean, I don't know how it is now, but back then certainly it was not great. It was passable at best. I didn't even pay attention to the other missions apart from customize. Fruit, bugs, wood. Okay. Let's do wood, I suppose. Yeah. So I mean, that was like a rare occurrence which happened, and was it fun? Not really. So I can't imagine how much, you know, there's nothing like waking up in the morning and be like, ooh, you know, it's a snow day. School's cancelled. Wow, amazing. What am I going to do? I don't know, probably like play video games. What else did I do back then? To be perfectly honest. And how exciting that was. But also, like, yeah, but anyway, sorry. We were talking about gloves and I went on a bit of a tangent. Those gloves were not very good because there's days where it used to actually snow when we went to school, but then the school was not cancelled because, you know, maybe they got some salt grit on the roads or the paths or something like that. That actually allowed us people to get to school on time, I don't know. But those gloves are not very good because I remember one of the days I tried to make some snowballs with them and I was just like, my hands are freezing after this because they are made out of wool. So, you know, when you put snow on them, the wool gets wet and then it just like you carry around the coldness with you and the dampness for the rest of the day. So, you know, not the most practical thing in the world. Nowadays, I don't even know what those gloves are anymore, to be honest. I use these like faux leather gloves. At least I think they're faux leather. Certainly hope they are. It would be quite a shock if they weren't, to me. But yeah, I mean, they're quite nice, and they've got the waterproof property, essentially, where water on the outside doesn't lead to me soaking my Oh, we customised this really recently, didn't we? Let's do a slingshot. I don't think we've done that for a while. I don't soak my fingers to the bone just because of the cold water from the atmosphere on my fingers. I don't know why I'm describing this in perhaps the most inhumane way, not inhumane, but like robotic way possible, I suppose. Let's go sell some stuff and put some stuff away. But yeah, basically it's just getting cold. as it normally does around winter time. I'm sure climate change is going to be an even colder winter than usual, or perhaps even warmer. I don't know. It depends, I suppose, on the situation and how turbulent the climate is. Not looking forward to either. As I do often say, I do prefer the cold compared to the heat. Like I'd much rather put on another layer than realise I have no more layers to take off and be like, And I prefer the shivering coldness and the nippiness compared to the sticky and humid hotness of summer. But, you know, your mileage may vary when it comes to certain things like that. But yeah, as it gets colder and colder, it's just like, you know, at what point do you stop putting stuff on? Because I could right now, instead of like putting my hands on this pillow, which by the way is actually working surprisingly well. It's kind of hard to get my hands fully in there because there's a Switch controller inside of it, but they're mostly in there. Do we need to put stuff away? We need to put stuff away. Let's put stuff away. But it's still honestly working pretty well. But like at a certain stage, you just had to sort of give in and you turn the heating on. I feel like turning it on in the start of October seems a bit premature compared to usual, but you know, times are changing, I suppose. I could just put gloves on. Why don't we have like loungewear gloves? You know, that should be a thing, or maybe it shouldn't be a thing. I don't know. To me, it's like casual wear gloves. Gloves it's not that weird to wear indoors if you're not trying to be like, I don't know, some very suave guest at a dinner party with driving gloves on or something. Casual gloves just like aren't really much of a thing. Sorry, not casual gloves, indoor gloves, and they should be, you know. Of course, there is that like false statistic or whatever where you lose most of your heat through your head and your feet, and I don't know why hands weren't included in that, but that's what I let you know. It's a false statistic. That's not how things work. The study which took place to measure the heat loss from humans and came to the conclusion that you lose most of the heat from your head and your feet has been misquoted, I believe. And it was actually because the participants weren't wearing hats or shoes or something, or thick socks or anything, but wasn't it like they were testing the efficacy of certain like maybe different brands of like outdoor winter wear, and they just weren't wearing like hats or something, which is why people think you lose most heat for your head. I mean, it might be true, you might actually lose more heat for your head, but I've heard it been debunked. So I'd say that you lose heat pretty evenly through whatever exposed skin you got going on. I suppose, if anything, shouldn't you lose less heat for your head because you've got like an insulation of hair on your head? Well, I suppose if you have hair. If you don't, I apologise. Not because you don't have hair, but I apologise for making the assumption that you do. What was I saying? I forgot. Yeah, but at least in my case, I've got a sort of layer of insulation. I have reasonably long hair because, you know, it's actually grown quite a lot in pandemic times. At some point, I'm going to have to cut it, but I haven't quite decided exactly what I'm going to do. I should have really get it cut at some point. I've just sort of been dillying and dallying over it the entire time, so I haven't quite gotten around to doing so. But yeah, what have I got to say about that? I don't know. I don't really know what I've got to say about any of this, to be honest. Is this really what we're talking about? Gloves? Winter wear? Winter wrap up, winter wrap up. Sorry, it's a My Little Pony reference for you there. Friendship is magic and all that. I know that 5th generation has started, like when movies come out. Apparently it was pretty alright, from what I heard. I don't know if it was spectacular or anything like that. Am I going to go watch it? Nah, probably not. I don't really care for watching that many movies nowadays, to be honest. I've very much not much of an interest in them. But Centipede, I'm trying to think, because, you know, like when it starts getting cold, like what layers would you put on? Okay, you know, you're going from autumn to winter time. Pretty normal, put on a thicker sweater. Pretty normal, put on like a thermal layer underneath. Pretty normal, or like a vest or something. Or a t-shirt if you don't have any of those. Hello, Ollie. Should we say hi to you? Why not? At what point is out? So sports, you like fencing? That is you, right? Yeah, that's right. I do like fencing. I don't know anything at all about fencing, but I super want to learn. Oh my gosh, you should host a seminar. I'll be your opening act. Okay, I'm not that good at fencing. I don't think I could host a seminar for fencing. I think it would be a little bit disrespectful to all the other better instructors out there who you should probably pay to actually hold a seminar instead of me. But you know, I can talk a little bit about fencing. In fact, I've already talked about fencing before, I believe, on the channel. Through one of the episodes, I don't know. You'd have to find it. We're slowly filling up our lily of a valley walkway over here. What missions have we got? We got bugs. Centipede's a bit nuisance. Seahorses also a little bit of nuisance now I think about it. Catch bugs and fossils. That's what we got to do. Like wearing a hat indoors, not that unusual. People wear beanies indoors all the time. Sports caps is perhaps a bit less common, but you know it happens. No flat caps, snapbacks. You know, no one wears a top hat anymore, indoor or outdoors, to be honest. But like, what hats are you expected to take off indoors? Summer hat. Why would you wear it outside? There's no sun. Fair enough. Very logical reasoning. You know, I wanted to sort of like go into a tangent of being like, oh, why can't we wear these certain clothes indoors or outdoors? But you know, so far I've only really run into examples which made sense. So there's kind of poked a hole. I don't know why I said that so weirdly. A hole in my plan. What other sort of winter wear? Like what? Why don't you wear scarves indoors? Like I remember it's a thing my old teachers used to say, you know, after we head to school on a cold wintry day or whatever. I don't know why rice grasshoppers just love jumping into a river like that. You know, everyone's really bundled up because, you know, they're trying to keep warm. It's also like -degrees or something outside during the winter months sometimes. As soon as we walk in, she told us, you know, you've got to take off all those layers because once you're inside and the heating's on, you've got to let all the heat in. Of course, we at the time, all of us were like, grumble, but it's so cold, I want to keep my layers on. Like, you know, especially because our school was kind of strict with uniforms and that sort of thing. They didn't like us wearing coats outside sometimes because I guess it covered up the uniform. We'd like strict haircut restrictions and that sort of thing. And, you know, all this sort of things which, you know, just make you sort of grumble. So the fact that you had to take your coat off inside, while it makes sense, I suppose from a logical perspective afterwards, you know, you're not trying to insulate yourself from the heat anymore. It's a transition period from taking off your coat and being inside is not pleasant in the slightest. Again, with just jumping into the river, we need another fossil. I don't know where another fossil could even be. Hello, Apollo. Don't mind us. Hello, Amelia. Don't mind us again. Just got to find another fossil. Find another fossil. Most of them are just on the main line nowadays, aren't they? So, really, we should be checking over there. I think there's one over here somewhere, though, isn't there? Like at the end of this path. Or maybe there hasn't been one here for many, many moons. Ah, no, there is. Look at my memory. Yeah, but I guess it makes sense. But even back then, I was like, I don't really want to take off my coat. But, you know, I did as I told. Good student and all that. I'm not really in the mood to fight against a teacher for something as trivial as that in the morning. Like, I don't even fight against teachers or these sort of people in the first place, to be honest. Like, you know, they set the groundwork and rules. And I understood my awareness. I had a bit of awareness, surprisingly. I'm a teenager. I'm still pretty dumb, to be honest. So, you know, just follow the rules, and most of the time we'll be fine, unless, you know, rules are very questionable, in which case you certainly question them. Don't just accept them blindly, but a lot of them do make sense, or a lot of them are rather inconsequential in the end. Although I suppose I kind of say that about a lot of things with my nihilistic streak. Does anything really matter in the end? No, not really. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, I actually completely forgot about that. Our school used to be quite strict with like wearing coats outside. Like we had to wait until we were allowed to wear coats. It got cold enough that we were allowed to wear coats outside, like during the breaks and that sort of thing. Otherwise, we had to just sort of deal with a school uniform. There's not many places we were allowed to go inside. Like we weren't allowed in classrooms unless the teacher was there, which is, you know, a reasonable, honestly, like a reasonable supervision thing. But like, it's sort of like, from my perspective, you know, I was a rather good student. I was not a troublesome student by any stretch of imagination. I wasn't going to do anything. I was probably just going to sit down, maybe talk to a few friends. If I had a packed lunch, maybe I'll eat a packed lunch. So, you know, I'd very much have liked to been able to go inside during a classroom if a teacher's not there during those sort of times. It'd be nice, like, maybe if they, you know, trusted a student, be like, oh, if you can be a supervisor, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm not gonna say other students were like bad people because they like wanted to cause a ruckus. I think it's just how kids are, you know. And you know, the kids who go outside to play some football, soccer for you Americans, want to run around, they want to be energetic, they want to have fun, and you know, being stuck inside is kind of boring. So they like invent their own games to play, like we invented ours, or played our own. I'm just trying to find more bugs, and often it involved tossing like pieces of paper around or trying to move rapidly around the classroom, which of course the teacher's not fond of in case they break something or injure themselves, in which case they are liable, which is, you know, it's just liability. That's always the long and short answer for all of these things and why we can do it. But during those cold winter months, you know, it was a thing that people used to hang out just in the bathrooms, or toilets I should say, and I shouldn't really call them bathrooms, there weren't baths in there, just for toilets in the school, because, you know, it was so cold, but, you know, we're not allowed to. So sometimes teachers would go in and you'd have to kick them out, or sometimes, you know, you're in an older year and, you know, the prefects would kick you out, and I was one of those prefects in one of those times because, you know, it's not so much that I wanted to kick the students, the younger years, out of the bathrooms or whatever. If anything, I would have let them stay and be like, as long as you aren't doing anything, I don't really care what you do inside the bathroom, just don't cause nuisance. The problem is, the teachers cared, and in one of the cases, back to the headmaster again, the principal, I was on a prefect duty this one time, and he walked into the bathroom to check it out, and there were kids in there, and I got told off. And I was like, why are you telling me off? Why are you not telling my other prefect buddy off? Because my other prefect buddy just was like, oh, you know, I see your headmaster are coming. I'm just going to, you know, walk away from this part you're trying to look after. And thus didn't get in trouble. I was like, and then he came and I was like, why didn't you check the bathroom and get the kids out? I was like, well, if I do that, then there's no one watching outside. So, you know, I've got to pick and choose these battles. And, you know, he didn't like our answer, I think. So, so much for that. Anyway, I'm not bitter or anything. No, I'm obviously not. Like, I don't even think. Like, you know, these sort of situations, you could hold on to that sort of resentment, that sort of bitterness, being like, man, really hate that guy. I don't hate that guy. Like, he's just doing his job at the end of the day. Like, but basically, again, when nihilism comes out, who cares? Is the long and short of it. Actually has no impact in, like, any grander scheme of my life or anything like that. It just sort of happened. I get where he's coming from, and yeah, was it a bit annoying that I couldn't explain my situation properly, and nor that he would probably listen to it, but it's just sort of like it happened, whatever. But yeah, basically long and short of it is like, you know, people just hang out in the bathrooms, and most of the time the teachers want to kick out the students because they bring their phone in. We weren't allowed our phone in school back in those days. But people brought them in anyway, and then got caught and got confiscated. Nowadays, I think the school rules have changed because they started to change by the time like we were leaving. I believe you can bring your phone in nowadays. It just has to like stay in your locker or something. You're not allowed to bring it to classrooms, which is sensible, to be honest. Bringing a mobile phone is almost a necessity, I'd say, around school. I'm like, if in the future I want to send my kids to school, be like, you had to bring a phone. Like, what happens if like you miss a train, miss a bus, or something comes up, and you had to let me know about X, Y, Z, which is happening? How is he going to do that? What, you're going to go to the school's admin office, bother the secretaries who've got tons of admin work we've got to be doing, and be like, hey, could you call my mum? You know, I missed a bus, or I missed a train, or like I got to stay late. I forgot I had like an orchestra on today, or like I forgot my violin. Could you drop it off or something like that? You know, what a nuisance. You know, bust out my mobile phone, send a text. Hey, mum, forgot my cello. Could you bring it? And I'd be like, sure. Well, if I could. If I couldn't, then I guess I'd be like, no. But that wasn't really part of the conversation. But I understand not wanting kids to bring their mobile phones into lessons because they tend to end up texting and that sort of thing to distract themselves. But, you know, it's kind of here and there. You know, because, you know, if you are a student who does well in the class and doesn't need to pay as much attention, or is paying attention anyway while texting, then I don't know. I feel like as a teacher I'd be like, okay, you can text. Problem is, I suppose as a teen, probably you're not always the best judgment of that sort of thing. Perhaps it's a bit too easy to claim, but like, oh yeah, I absolutely am paying attention and it's all going in. Well, it very much isn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm a stickler of a teacher. But anyway, yeah. So basically, the long and short of this entire episode is those gloves are. Why are thin gloves not warmer? Is that really the tagline for this episode? Why are thin gloves not warmer? Honestly, it doesn't make any sense. Probably one of the more nonsensical episodes. I don't really have. I mean, you can probably tell. I'm not in really that much of a conversational mood. Not like I'm like, oh, I'm in a bad mood. I'm just like conversationally. I'm like, my brain's got nothing. It's running out of high and dry. Just trying to improvise with whatever random anecdotes it's got bouncing around in there, which I haven't already covered too many times at least. The plus side is, most people probably don't even remember all of these random anecdotes I'm saying. But no, it's a point of moral pride not to repeat them. Something like that. Yeah, no gloves. I just want some nice warm gloves, which are not ski gloves, which are like incredibly thick and have that weird sort of. I don't even know what material it is. 111. You want confirm? 1. That's sort of like a waterproof membrane or something which goes along the outside, which is meant to keep you warm. It's just too inconvenient in my eyes. I want something which is, I just like tighter fitting clothes and looser fitting clothes in a lot of cases. Not every case, just some cases. And in this case with gloves, I like the gloves to reflect my hands more accurately. That's probably the most nonsensical sentence okay, it's not actually the most nonsensical sentence I've ever said, but it's very strange. Centipede, seahorse, balloons. I guess we can try and catch. What am I buying? Why am I? Oh, candy. We probably have a lot of candy already, I'd imagine, but we might as well buy some more. And we do have a spend bells mission, so that is what we will do. I'll buy it. Let us buy this. What's that? 3,600. And I don't know, man. Just like, I don't know, some customization kits, I guess, if in doubt. Actually, you know what? Let's buy some tree saplings. That is probably the best course of action to take, because we might need to plant some trees in the future. Who knows? What's been going on? Oh, recently Project Sakai. That other gacha game which I started playing like a couple of months ago, recently has started its anniversary celebrations. It released, I can't remember, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. It released a banner, a double rates banner called Color Fest, and with 5 limited cards. Well, 2 of them being Color Fest cards, and the other 3 just regular limited which were also in there. And since I had a lot of crystals saved up because I was rather new, I did some pulls. I did 90 pulls in total, and I got 14 SSRs at 6% rate, including 4 out of 5 focus cards, which is incredible. Those are unbelievable odds, mind you. Because let's see, 14 divided by 90. It's roughly 15 divided by 90, 3 over 18, 1 in 6. Okay, we're just trying to find a centipede. What's 1 in 6 as a percentage? It's like 17%. Like the normal rates are 6% odds, and I just got 17% odds effectively. Oh my god, 17% SR odds. It was crazy, I tell you. Apparently, we just don't have a centipede. This one, at least we know, is a money rock, which we might as well mine it for what it's worth. So that was pretty fun. Which ones did I get, you might ask? I hear you ask, because you absolutely definitely are experts in this game, and not people who are just listening to my random ramblings for no apparent reason. I got Hatsune Miku. No! I dropped that. I didn't mean to pick it up. Hatsune Miku. I got Minori. I got Tsukasa, and I got Kohane. There you go. I did not get Ichika. That's alright. That's alright. It's okay. I'm gonna put money anyway. Wait, what? I'm gonna deposit money anyway. But sometimes you get lucky, and I'm a person who believes in odds statistics rather than being like, oh, you know, people are lucky people or unlucky people. You can have lucky and unlucky moments, certainly, and some people have much stronger ones which leave a greater impression. But in things like this, when it comes to like gacha games and that sort of thing, it all kind of evens out in the end. There's not really much you can really not really much information you can sort of glean from a sort of small sample size of 90. I don't think I'm a lucky person necessarily in gacha games. I have gotten lucky before, and I tend to remember those much more when I get unlucky because I feel better, I guess. But, you know, there's sort of situations, and it all evens out in the end. Anyway, we're going to round off this episode here, I guess. I know it's quite a grab bag of conversational things to talk about. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.